dreaming. They're all dreaming of Joe Biden. I'll tell you who's dreaming about him is Iran. If we win, and when we win, we are going to have a deal with Iran immediately. They're just waiting, hoping.
On the House, that Ms. Lawson will vote nay on House Resolution 483 amendments. He votes.
So that was AOC crying in Congress, like literally crying in Congress when it became apparent that American tax dollars were going to be helping to fund Israel's Iron Dome. Now, keep in mind, that same woman, that same crying woman, since that moment has called for financially supporting the killings of as many Eastern Europeans as possible at whatever cost is necessary. And that's with offensive weapons, actual dangerous weapons. The Iron Dome, it doesn't launch attacks. It is purely a defensive weapon. If you can even call it a weapon, it's a defensive tool. And as we saw last weekend, it is incredibly effective at stopping threats and saving Jewish lives, not to mention the millions and millions of other lives in Israel that don't happen to be Jewish. So why the crying from AOC 3 years ago? And honestly, why do we still humor these kinds of people within our own government? They cannot possibly be representing the American people or the American government effectively. I mean, how is it possible they're there? What exactly are the rules of the game in 2024? And what is going to happen between Israel and Iran? Iran, by the way, I believe they were a major benefactor of the Iron Dome this weekend as well. If the AOCs of the world had won, and if the Iron Dome had not been in place, if even a small percentage of those drones and missiles had been effective, we'd be watching World War III right now. And MSNBC, they actually brought on a former ambassador to Israel to explain what the hell is really going on in the Middle East. And he makes some really, really great points.
Your assessment of where things stand, just how close are we to war between Israel and Iran?
Well, we're not close, Anna, because Israel and Iran have been at war for about 30 years now. And you can't sort of take out of the context the events of the last week. Iran and its proxies have been attacking Israel on virtually every border, certainly since October 7th, but well before that for decades. And we tend, both the United States and Israel, have played by Iran's rules. Iran fires rockets by its proxies, Hezbollah, Hamas, the Shiite militias in Iraq and Syria. They fired Israelis, they fired American troops, and we fire back at the proxies, but no one ever fires back at Iran. So it looks now like the rules of the game are changing, that Iran will not be able to escape unscathed from these recurrent battles in this 30-year war between Israel and Iran. And Israeli leaders are thinking now tonight, yes, last night was immensely successful and a great act of cooperation between Israel and the United States and other allies in preventing this onslaught of missiles. But a defense is not deterrence. And if anything, the Iranians are going to be very frustrated that they were unable to penetrate Israel's defenses, and they're going to try it again because they haven't been deterred in any meaningful way.
That is a pretty good answer. I mean, he's right. We're not close to war. They've been at war for over 30 years, and Iran has been attacking Israel in every way and from every direction since long before October 7th, but certainly since that moment. And it's a simple point, but he's absolutely right. Sadly, I don't think that the people of the MSNBC audience have any real clue what he's talking about. And I would guess even less than that, less people will actually care what he's talking about. But I think we should all care, because his best point was that we've all been playing by Iran's rules, and we've all been bending to every crazy demand that they've ever had and ever made. And he's absolutely right. Defense is not a deterrence. And he's probably right. If you're Iran and you just launched something like 400 weapons and produced 0 casualties, 0 real damage, and you've already proven that you're bloodthirsty, insane people, what do you think you'd be doing right now? What would you be planning right now? Probably something pretty extreme. And these are scary times, man. I don't think we've seen the last of the story. Honestly, I don't think we've even really seen the beginning. But I don't know. I really don't know. But all I do know is that some 81-year-old complication of virtue signaling gone bad, just whispering don't, is not the sort of foreign policy, adult in the room leadership that the world needs right now.
Mr. President, what is your message to Iran in this moment?
Don't.
Are American personnel and assets at risk, Mr. President?
There's limited fighting already on the northern Israeli border, and I wonder, what is your message to Hezbollah and its backer, Iran? Don't.
And what's the message to Iran?
Don't.
As President Biden said, just don't.
Exactly. One word. Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, well, that didn't work out too well, right? And apparently, to quote Kamala, it's not really all that straightforward. You know, you tell them don't, and then they do, big surprise, and then you beg Israel to just sit there and take it. Israel, the only nation on the face of the earth that will ever be expected to just absorb rockets, absorb attacks, and then basically feed and clothe the people that attack them, right? That does not work. I don't know what the answer is, but that much I know. I know that that does not work. We've got the speak softly part pretty well down. We have for a long time. But it's time to carry a big stick, man. And I showed you Donald Trump predicting that Iran was just waiting, hoping Biden would become president. Well, here he is talking about the next 7 months before he becomes president again.
What's going on with Israel, October 7th, and what's going on with Israel could end up in a world war. We have a president that can't put two sentences together. We have a president that can't find the stairs off a stage. We have a president that doesn't know what the hell he's doing. And we could end up in a world war. You know, we have just a little bit less than 7 months now, months before November 5th. But that's an eternity when people are incompetent.
You really can't add much to that, man. He's absolutely right. I mean, whether we like it or not, he's right. You know, a lot of us might not appreciate the guy's tone. Some of us don't like his personality or his alleged proclivities. But unless you're a truly deluded victim of propaganda, there is no denying the fact that the guy gets it. He is absolutely right on the big things. Every single one. Every single big thing, he is right. He gets it. But that's just my take, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share the channel. I'll see you in the next one.